Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Saw something yesterday that just had me do a double take. That's right. I was bullish until I saw this one thing. We're going to take a look at that. But also, don't fight the tide, right? We're going to take a look at some metrics that show us that maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel sooner than later that isn't a train. We could appreciate that. What else? We've got a utility giant out of France that is exploring installing Bitcoin mining, and possibly also data centers. We're going to take a look at that. The Fed and their reputation risk oversight policy. What the hell is that even all about? What does that even really mean for Bitcoin? We're going to take a look at that. The Michigan bill, right, to allow the employees to be paid in Bitcoin. There's, interestingly enough, there's other elements of that bill that are really protectionist towards Bitcoin, but also towards running a node. So I appreciate that language. Now, of course, as we know, it doesn't really make a difference what the laws are. That's one of the main properties of Bitcoin, is that it just doesn't rely on the government. It exists and works despite government action, government intervention. So this is an interesting one. The Jane Street stuff, guys. I hear a whole bunch of people crying about Jane Street, right? Oh, the manipulators. Oh, it's their fault that Bitcoin went down. We're going to take a look at that whole entire controversy. And there's also this VLS project that I never heard about that we're going to take a look at. Guys, it's going to be a fun show. Let's freaking do it. Here we go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. Oh, yeah. Hey, good morning, Rourke. Free RS Guides, and JM. All right, so the Bitcoin Fiat Exchange. Yesterday we were at like 64. Look at us, 68.5. The carrot on the end of the stick. All right, I'll chase it. I will chase it. All right, but at least we've got the block height. The block height's giving me a whole lot of hope here. 938,309, 1 sat per VByte. Apparently, the JPEGs, they're just not killing Bitcoin the way some people would imagine. And the total public Lightning capacity, 5,292. It's the same number all the time. Same number. But I can actually say that I can see transactions going up from what I'm doing. So yes, I did catch the State of the Union last night. I did. I don't know if you really want me to comment on it later. We'll see. I'll. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't give the hockey team. As I'm learning, right? I'm learning that they don't use gold for the gold medals. So these people, they trade their time, right? They trade essentially their lives, right? They practice and they essentially give up their friendships, all of this stuff, and in the end, they don't even get an actual gold medal if they win. Like it's not fair. But anyways, I know that wasn't the whole point of the State of the Union, but maybe we'll dive into it at the end. But anyways, guys, the numbers are looking good. Bitcoin is still alive. Blocks are being mined. I am bullish about this, and why not? Right? Yes. That's awesome. You got me. And I did catch it. I did. I couldn't help it. I had to watch it, right? And today, of course, all of the comments are just so much shit slinging. It's terrible to watch one side versus the other when all of these people are part of the same club, and we're supposed to sit here and just pretend that like these people are on opposite sides of the aisle. Illusions are boring and fake. Okay, I'll stop. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You just tell me to shut up and move on. I will. So here we go, guys. We are not going to fight the tide. This chart looks good. Does it, though? So take a look, okay? So essentially, these are like the last 3 cycles, right? These are the last 3 cycles. Here we go. This was the one that I essentially came to Bitcoin in, right? So look, if you're trying to match this up, okay, essentially we are either at the beginning of this prolonged downturn before we start to build up again, or we're kind of in the middle of it and it's about to turn. That's why it's all just inference, right? It's all just inference. Okay, guys, this is it. This was it. I was bullish. I definitely was, but then this happened. This happened, got me rethink everything.
I'm definitely moving into longs in my crypto portfolio here. Again, I'm very diversified with my stock.
I just want to point out that Gareth shorted Bitcoin all the way to the all-time high. Just want to point that out. And this is why I'm obviously kidding about not being bullish, right? But this is bad. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see the guy that was shorting us all the way up saying he's now long. Is that the nail in the coffin, or was that the bottom?
Stock portfolio, my crypto, my commodities. So I'm very well diversified in that way, as we never know what can really happen, as good investors know. But I am, yes, long, short term. Short term here, I am long crypto and just anticipating a relief rally based on sentiment being far too bearish. And by the way, one thing of interest, if you match up the chart on Oracle and Bitcoin and altcoins, it's almost identical.
Okay. So he's making the case for Bitcoin being a tech stock. Yeah, look, temporary correlation, sure. I don't see how it's a tech stock. I understand that temporarily it may seem like it's trading like one, and I know there's a whole bunch of overlays about the business cycle and all of this stuff. Listen, I think I'm maybe one of the few people that'll just tell you nobody has any idea what the fuck they're talking about, and me included, right? Like, I'm not sitting here standing on a podium saying those people have no idea. I also have no idea. But I'm also not trying to. I'm also not trying to sell people on some type of strategy or some type of course that I have or something like that. So, anyways, but yeah, Gareth Soloway, you're bothering me that you're long. Go back short again. If you go short, then we're gonna pump. Let's be honest. Okay, let's dive into the the state, right? The state is making some moves, and we are going to cover. The Michigan State Representative Matt Maddock introduces bill to allow employees to be paid in Bitcoin and to prohibit the issuance of a CBDC. Okay, so, excuse me, there was actually different parts of this bill. A bill to regulate the use of digital assets, to prohibit certain digital asset taxes, to protect the right to home digital asset mining, to regulate a digital asset mining business, to protect the right to operate a node, to prohibit certain uses and acceptances of central bank digital currency as legal payment, and provide remedies. So, very interesting stuff that is going into this bill from Michigan. Again, obviously not a supporter of the state. However, I do appreciate that we're seeing this, and it does give me hope. It gives me hope for humanity to a certain extent. Definitely gives me hope for humanity. Oh, on the Olympic thing, huh? It's not about the gold medal. It's about the yeah. Okay, fine, JM. I'll take it. I'll take it begrudgingly. All right, guys. The French government. Let's see what they're doing here. This company, Engie, is considering installing Bitcoin miners at its new solar plant in Brazil to make the facility more profitable. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Engie is looking at installing storage systems or Bitcoin mining data centers. Not the same. It's not just Bitcoin miners, it's or. Okay? Big difference. Not trying to shut it down, just trying to look at it realistically, because when the news actually breaks that, oh no, they decided not to go with Bitcoin miners, instead they went with data storage facilities, you got like all these people like, oh my God, I don't understand what happened. This is captured. They're trying to destroy Bitcoin. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense, right? These guys, look, they are doing their studies. They're figuring out what is most profitable, what is the most lucrative thing that they can do. That's all there is to it. Anyways, options are being considered to create local demand and manage the issue in Asusol, such as data centers for Bitcoin mining or storage. This would not be a short-term solution. Another piece of this, right? So the framing from the original post is kind of different. That's not coming next month. It'll take a couple of years for us to implement. So it's not, they're not saying this isn't a short-term solution like, oh, we're going to do this for a long time. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that they're going to take this slowly and they're going to do their due diligence. And this isn't just some overnight thing where they're going to implement it tomorrow. That's all that means. But again, it doesn't mean that anything is happening in the way of Bitcoin mining over there. It just means that they're going to look into it and figure out the pros and cons versus data storage. Yeah, I think it's a good thing, but it's not like, oh my gosh, that's it, you know, integration into industry. Like that's, no, they're just looking at it. Hey, Phil, good morning. Interesting. Yeah. There was no industry in the first three halvings. As the industry grows, the halvings will not play as big of a role. Yeah, I don't see why not. You know, I mean, we already saw the diminished, I believe, the diminished role in this particular cycle, right? We ended up breaking the previous all-time high even before the halving event. So it's almost like the halving narrative had to catch up with the market. It was like, oh, no, yeah, we're here now. We're here. And there's less Bitcoin, so you do your thing. All right, so let's talk about this reputation risk BS thing, okay? So the Fed moves, this was all exciting. Yay, the Fed moves to eliminate reputation risk from oversight policy, a framework that debanked and prohibited Bitcoin and crypto firms access to banking. Yeah, but there's more to it than that. Hey, good morning, Shift. Okay, so here we go. In June, the board announced that reputation risk would no longer be a component of examination programs as it in its supervision of banks. The proposal would build on that announcement to help ensure supervisory decisions are based on material financial risks. You guys, do you want me to read that again? How pathetic is this? The proposal would build on that announcement to help ensure supervisory decisions are based on material and financial risks, as well as increase clarity and facilitate greater precision in supervisory decision-making. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? Like this is a government agency, and you actually think, what the hell were you basing it on before? Like, obviously, you should be basing decisions on material financial risk. That's the whole point. So they were just going on hunches, and it's like, oh, this person has a bad reputation, so I'm not going to bank them. This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic that there is no pushback on this, and instead, there's just a bunch of cheering for the government to do what it was supposed to do in the first place. Again, Operation Mindfuck. Excuse my language, but there is no other way to explain it. Like, that's what that is. This is just gaslighting nonsense. It truly is. Anyways. The Jane Street stuff, guys. The Jane Street stuff. That's right. So, look, if you weren't here last cycle, you may not be familiar with the deploying liquidity, steady lads, or some shit like that. Anyways, so believe it or not, Terra Luna was actually a Bitcoin treasury company before all the Bitcoin treasuries, but it obviously wasn't considered that because it's doing a shitcoin. The same way as that Buck token is doing. Well, not the same way, similarly, other layers of extraction. But the point is that they had a shitcoin, right? And they were buying Bitcoin as part of their treasury. And it was making their shitcoin pump. Does this sound familiar? You just replace shitcoin with shares. Yeah. So let's dive into the story. Okay. Let's dive into the story. Oh, and Raoul Pal was shilling Terra Luna and calling it relatively risk-free. So yeah, even though for whatever reason, people just don't seem to hold anybody accountable. So Raoul Pal continues to get away with being a horrible horrible judge of investments and wrecking people left and right. Shout out to Rhino for a great summary. So here we go. A federal lawsuit accuses Jane Street of using insider info to walk away clean from the $40 billion Terra Luna collapse while retail lost everything. Yeah, there you go. They didn't have access to the credit markets. Did they also even have the Bitcoin that they said they did? I remember there was something with that too. I remember when CZ also pulled a move where he said that he was going to, oh no, that was with FTX. CZ said he was going to help out FTX. And then at the last second, he's like, I don't think so. We looked at the numbers and it's just not going to do it. All right. So yesterday, Terraform's bankruptcy admin, Todd Snyder, sued Jane Street, its co-founder and 2 staff. The claim, Jane Street used a back channel to exploit material non-public info front-running the 2022 collapse that wiped out $40 billion in the market. The 10-minute window is the smoking gun. On May 7th, 2022, Terraform withdrew $150 million UST from a pool without notice. Within 10 minutes, a wallet linked to Jane Street withdrew $85 million UST, its largest swap ever. This move allegedly triggered the final death spiral. Terra Luna. Look at that, man. It was like over $100. Look at that. 116 down to $1. Yeah, absolutely, Narwhal. He's a good salesman, never a good investor. A lot of these guys, though, are just great salesmen, right? That's really what it is. So, how did they know? The suit points to Bryce Pratt, a former Terraform intern who joined Jane Street. He allegedly ran a private group chat named Bryce's Secret with former colleagues to leak internal moves back to the high-frequency trading giant. This goes way beyond 2022 stablecoin collapse. Jane Street is now primary gatekeeper for the Bitcoin ETFs from BlackRock and Fidelity. But as they handle these massive flows, questions are rising about their influence on daily price action and market stability. The legal pressure is mounting. This lawsuit follows a $4 billion claim against Jump Trading for similar conduct. Bankruptcy admins are now aggressively hunting the smart money, firms that allegedly profited from advance notice of crypto's biggest disasters. Oof. Okay, so guess what? When the price goes down, so I'll start off with this. The people that claim that when the price drops, it's manipulation, but when the price goes up, it's just market dynamics, free market dynamics. Unfortunately, what's happening there is hypocrisy, right? What's happening there is a bias, right? It's a form of bias. You have to understand that even though we may not enjoy that the price goes down, the same exact techniques, okay, and the same markets that move prices down, it's the same dynamics that move prices up. Okay. And I'm not making excuses for crappy Jane Street. They are doing Wall Street things. That is Wall Street. That's what it does. It does Wall Street things, right? There's motivation and manipulation. They're both sides of the same coin. Okay. Now, you could argue, and I would, Jane Street saw an opportunity, right? Seeing how weak Terra Luna was, and they just pulled one of the legs out. Right? The same way that Peter Thiel, right, and his investment vehicle pulled out of, I think it was Silicon Valley Bank or Signature Bank. I think it was Silicon Valley Bank, right? Just enough lean for it to fall, right? Just enough lean for it to fall. So look, yeah, is there manipulation in the markets? You're damn right there is. Don't fool yourself that there isn't. Is there motivation in the markets? Absolutely there is. Are both of these things happening at the same time? 100% they are. Okay? So just, it's about looking at this stuff objectively, and it's about realizing, okay, that these dynamics are going to play out. And right here, hard hodl with the signal right on time. DCA to BTC. That's right. That's right. Just like Vikingo says, stay solvent, right? If you stay solvent, And you make sure that you're not going to wreck yourself with ridiculous expectations. Look, where did all the cheerleaders go? I know that this has nothing to do with Jane Street, but look, 6 months ago, the cheerleaders, guys like American Hodl and all these people, they're telling you, I'll be $1 million Bitcoin, $500,000 right around the corner. They're all gone. Gone. That's it. No more. It's not fun anymore. But guess what? They're going to be back in a few years. And sadly, the same people are going to platform these grifters over and over again, giving you nonsense. However, the boring message of staying solvent, right, and not trying to essentially buy more Bitcoin than you can actually afford to hold, because that is possible, that messaging gets completely drowned out. It's not fun. That messaging doesn't make you feel good, and that's okay. Anyways, I'm not here to placate egos anyways. All right. So look who's back. Yeah. You know that, Mark. You know that this is pissing Mark off so much. Okay. All these companies making stable coins, exchanges, all this stuff. And Zuckerberg's just stuck on the outside, man. He's just right outside the moat with his crappy Facebook. Okay. And again, I'm not saying it's like it's junk and it's going to zero. What I'm saying is that he's got this massive network with billions of users, and he can't do anything in this space. Yeah, that's right. He had already tried to make, I think, was it Libra? I think that's what it was. But yeah, he's trying again. Here we go. Planning a stablecoin comeback in H2, eyeing a third-party vendor as a key partner to power the payments, because the reality is that he learned lessons from the last time, right? The last time he got blocked. Did I say Zuckerberg? Probably. I may have said that. It's, who knows? I probably did. I'm not really sure. But yeah. So Meta sent out a request for a product to third-party firms to help administer stablecoin-based payments, according to sources, because the government already blocked Facebook because they understand the network effects. If you think the people working in the government are fools, they are not. Like, indeed, there is some foolishness, but they are not fools. They understand how network effects work, right? If Facebook were to make their own crypto, so to speak, they would immediately have 3 billion users. They would immediately have that. You know who else? I mean, I've talked about this before, right? Walmart. Walmart was blocked going way back to 2000. Walmart had tried to make their own bank for 20 years. They got blocked all over the place. Yeah, right? Right? Because, and to Rourke's point, will Zuckerberg partner with David Marcus? Well, David Marcus was the one who was spearheading the Libra or Librum. I think it was the Librum project, right? Didn't work. He left, started working on Lightning, building his own rails, building his own infrastructure, and lo and behold, Facebook is back. Are they going to use it? We're going to see. We are going to see. So Stripe, which acquired stablecoin firm Bridge last year, was mentioned by one source as a likely candidate for piloting Meta's stablecoin. Interesting. Not David Marcus's company, but that doesn't mean anything. Meta famously tried to introduce, it was the Libra stablecoin. I thought it was Librum. I guess I got it confused with another one. Later renamed DM. Okay, yeah, I'm just old and mixing words together and names together. Only to be shut down amid regulatory scrutiny. That's right. Because a 3 billion person network immediately created out of nothing, that doesn't help the government maintain control. That does not help banks maintain their moat, okay? And the banks have spent a lot of money lobbying the government, okay? Never forget that. They spent a lot of money lobbying the government. So, hey, good morning, Verhoofdy. Let's see here. David Marcus, former Meta employee, runs his own. Thank you, Lightspark. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I did not remember the name at all. Come on, Rourke. Oh, God. Okay. I'm sorry. All right, let's continue. All right, we're going to take a look at this VLS thing. Shout out to Upbeats. I appreciate you tagging me in this stuff, man, because obviously I can't, I don't keep up with everything. But this is interesting. This is very interesting stuff. So we're talking about, were we talking about node security? I think I was talking about the wallet security, right? So we were talking about that We Satoshi product that they've got going on that looks super cool. They're doing a demo of it this week. Check out the We Satoshi account. It's cool stuff. It is. All right, so let's take a look at this, right? So it's a VLS SDK that moves your Lightning keys and signing logic onto a dedicated signer that enforces Lightning rules and your policies before releasing a signature. The only solution that keeps private keys off your Lightning node and validates every transaction before signing. So this seems to be the big, because now this is okay. So we've got the We Satoshi product, right? We've got this product over here, right? The VLS project. Let's hold on a second. I just want to go take a look at their website. Maybe they have like a. Sorry, guys, this is live. So, it's the shit that happens. All right. Okay, so here we go. Scale Lightning liquidity without compromising security. See VLS in action. Oh, okay. Okay, so they give you like a scenario, right? You're selecting a destination to send funds, untrusted. Choose time window. Okay, let's say, okay. No, don't switch. Why'd you switch? Let's say untrusted, outside of business hours. Okay, so it lets you know that if you have VLS, what'll happen. If you don't have VLS, it also lets you know what happened. Okay, so what's outside business hours? What if the node is compromised? That's very interesting. So if the node is compromised, according to this service, VLS is going to reject the transaction, meaning that you will be able to save your Bitcoin. Whereas in a hot wallet scenario without it, the transaction would still get approved because, of course, the Bitcoin network has no knowledge of your node being compromised. Okay, so this gets me thinking, right? There's 3 similar but not the same type of products that do somewhat different things, but they do the similar things, but for somewhat different scenarios. I'll explain. There's the Bronta company, right? Or Branta service, which does this validation of, I believe, the address that you are sending to. Okay. Then there's this We Satoshi product, which I talked about yesterday, that essentially creates a scenario that if you have an event occur that indicates that you are compromised, a RBF transaction will go through in order to essentially force your funds back to you, obviously to another address, and stop the attacker. And now there's also this particular product. Very interesting. I'm definitely interesting. This is I'm going to do some more research on that, but that's actually pretty cool. Oh, Mr. Dinkles. Let's see. If all of BTC's problems since May 10 were caused by Jane Street, anybody find it unlikely the allegations in the news would somehow make it stop? Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's great, right? Oh, okay, they found us out. Let the liquidity go. It's so stupid. I love it. October 10th. Yeah. No, it's funny. You wrote May 10th, but I read October 10th in my head anyways. It's all good. But yeah, guys, I don't, look, there's all these different market participants. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people sit there and say the markets are manipulated while the price is going down, but yet at the same time, we don't see this self-awareness or this moral hypocrisy or whatever you want to call it, where the price goes up and somehow that's not manipulated, right? That's just price discovery. Like, look, in those types of scenarios, we're just overlaying our own bias. We're overlaying our own ego desires. Like that's all it is, That's all it is. Anyways, it's good times. It's good times. I'm here for it. What are we at? 68.6. Not bad. Not bad. All right. We are holding up. No, don't apologize, Mr. Dinkles. Anyways, guys, you know the deal, right? These guys are in jail. Buildings, they built software, privacy software. We can clearly see the massive attack that is occurring on the individual and self-sovereignty and privacy. Of course, we've got states like Michigan that are actually attempting to put laws in place that may help individuals, but there's still a fight that we got to fight. Please consider signing the petition and or donating. What's going on here? Don't dox yourself. Don't do that. I have the Bitcoin equation tattooed on my arm. I know. I don't know. I never thought of doing stuff like that when it came to the Bitcoin tattoos. I still remember when somebody tattooed American HODLs, that meme that he made back in like 2018. Somebody actually tattooed that on their arm, like 6.15. I apologize in advance for the language. It was what is it, like big riches and big titty bitches or something like that, and somebody actually tattooed that on their arm. Yeah, you gotta love humans. We are an interesting bunch. We're definitely an interesting bunch. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of the day. Don't focus too much on the noise. Let me do that. Let me focus on the noise and psych myself out. But just remember, no matter what happens, the noise, the best thing that we can do is zoom out and hodl. Okay? Zoom out, hodl, stay solvent, don't wreck yourself. Best we can do. You think he has 615? Maybe. I don't know. Hey, my pleasure, guys. All right. Have a great rest of the day. Take it easy. Peace.